Hey, topic in life's math industry, and we are going to take a look at radical roots. But what we're going to be learning is prime factorization. So what is prime factorization? Well, in the last video, we've been spending tons of energy trying to solve this, and this. And what the thing is what we gotta do is find a faster way how we can understand what the greatest common factors are, as well as getting a square out of it. Because just coming up with the factors is actually the hardest thing about this math part. So how are we going to use a strategy? Well, prime factorization happens when you gather all of the prime numbers and try to make a tree and pull out information to get to your square root. Here's an example. Turns out it is giving us the square root of 72. We have to simplify that because it's not a perfect square. So what we're going to do is line up all of the prime numbers that we need. Remember, in algebra, prime numbers happen when you can only have a number multiplied by 1 and itself to make that number. Like 1 times 13 is 13. 1 times 7 equals 7. Nothing else. If we have a number like 2 times 4 equals 8, that is a composite number. Composite numbers mean that you can get to that number right here without having to multiply by itself by 1. So this is not going to be counted as a prime number. So let's gather the prime numbers. We have 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, etc. So those are the first 7 prime numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we're going to do now is try to have the greatest common factor of 72, but try to make a tree out of this. So we have 72. That 72 can be cut into 2 and 36. So what we're trying to do is find the smallest square and then find the products of all of them. That 36 can be split into 2 and 18. Now 18 can be split into 2 and 9. And 9 is our slowest, or that is our smallest square. So 9 is going to be 3 and 3. See how we're making a little tree, kind of? So here's how it works. 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 is going to equal 72. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 is going to equal 72. We can also say the square root of the product of all this is going to equal to the square root of 72. So now what we got to do is find out what the radical is, the simplified radical. And what we can do is cross out numbers so we can get to our final answer. So let's see how it works. 2 and 2 are going to have partners, so they're going to be lined out. 3 and 3 are going to be partners as well. So now we can cross out the 3 and the 3. Now we know that our square root is going to be 2 because it doesn't have a partner to go with. So the next thing we do is say 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. There are 2 different kinds of numbers, 2 and 3. We already used the 2, so now what we're going to do is say 2 times 3 because we're using 2 different kinds of numbers. 2 times 3 is going to be 6. So our answer is going to be 6 radical 2. So this problem can be very easy when you practice it, but also this is a helpful problem when you have to find the smallest square, then the product of all these in the radical, and then you'll get you to your answer. Also, it's helpful when you know the prime numbers, because that's called prime factorization. 2 was a good number because that is the smallest prime number that we can use. That is easily multiplied into a whole number of 72. Also, it's also helpful when you have big numbers like find the square root of 1076. Wow, that is going to be hard to do when you just come up with factors that look like these. I hope this video has helped you understand prime factorization, radical roots. Thank you for watching Helping in Life's Math Industry. Like and subscribe.